Hi, I'm Sarah. Today I'm going to read you the story of Carla, which is titled like this. My pregnant sister demanded I give her my new car because hers is too cramped for 3 kids. You're single? You don't have kids? I said no, and my whole family called me selfish. Then my car was stolen and I found it at my sister's house. Well, let's go. So, this happened to me a few months ago, and I'm still trying to make sense of it. I'm Carla, 29, and I work as a pharmacist at a local drugstore. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills, and I actually enjoy helping people manage their medications. Let me tell you about my family first, because they're a big part of how this mess unfolded. My parents live in a small house they've owned forever. Dad's retired now and spends most of his time watching TV and grumbling about everything. Mom works part-time at a grocery store, mostly to stay active. They're not wealthy, but they get by. Then there's my older sister, Emma. She's 34, married to Jake, who works construction when he can find jobs. They have 2 kids. My nephew's Tyler, who's 8, and Mason, who's 6. Sweet kids. I love them dearly. And Emma's 5 months pregnant now with their 3rd child. Emma and Jake are always struggling financially. They rent a tiny house right next to my parents', which I guess is convenient. Jake's parents sometimes help them pay rent. Honestly, I help out too. I give them money for school supplies, sports fees, whatever comes up. I've even paid their utility bills more than once. One thing my family always joked about was my old car, this beat-up Honda I'd been driving for the past 8 years. The paint was faded, one door made this terrible squeak, and the AC had a mind of its own. "When are you going to ditch that hunk of junk?" Jake would laugh. "That thing's going to die on you one day," Dad would say. Emma would chime in with, "I can't believe you still drive that embarrassment." I always said the same thing. I'm not replacing it until it completely dies. It still gets me where I need to go. They thought I was being cheap or stubborn. The truth, I was saving money. I lived simply. A small apartment, homemade lunches, no extravagant spending. I had a decent amount tucked away, and I was proud of that. Then, last month, my car finally gave out. I was heading home from work when it started making this horrible grinding noise and just stopped completely. Smoke came from under the hood. I had it towed to my regular mechanic. After an hour, he said, "Sorry, Carla, it's done. The engine's gone. Fixing it isn't worth it." So there I was, no car, and needing to get to work. I took the bus for a few days while I figured out what to do. I didn't tell my family. I wanted to surprise them. I spent the weekend browsing cars online and visiting dealerships. I didn't want anything fancy, just something reliable that would last me another 8 years. Then I saw it, a Honda Pilot. Not brand new, but only a couple of years old. Spacious, high safety ratings, perfect for trips. I thought of my nephews. I sometimes pick them up from school or take them to practices. With another baby on the way, I knew I'd be helping more. It just made sense. The price wasn't cheap, but not outrageous either. I crunched the numbers and realized I could pay in full with my savings. No loan, no monthly payments. The paperwork took forever, but by Friday afternoon I was driving my new car home. It felt incredible. Everything worked perfectly. And it was mine. All mine. That Saturday, I decided to surprise my family. We always had dinner together at my parents' place on weekends. Emma and Jake's old minivan was already there when I pulled up. I parked my shiny new Honda Pilot a few meters away from the house and sat for a moment, smiling. I grabbed the bottle of wine I'd brought and went inside. Everyone was gathered around the dining table. Mom's Saturday spread smelled amazing. We all sat down to eat. Emma looked at me with her usual smirk and said, "So, Carla, how's that death trap of yours holding up?" "Actually," I said, grinning, "my car died earlier this week. The engine's completely gone." "Oh, honey, I'm sorry," Mom said. "How have you been getting to work?" "Well," I said, unable to keep the smile off my face, "I bought a new car. It's parked outside." The room fell silent. Emma jumped up. "I want to see it. Come on, everyone outside." We all walked out to see my new car. Mom and Dad circled it, inspecting it closely. "Carla, this is beautiful and so practical," Mom said. Dad gave a nod of approval. "Good choice, kiddo. This will last you forever." I opened the doors so they could look inside. The kids climbed into the back seats while I showed everyone the features. I was beaming. Their reactions were exactly what I'd hoped for. Well, most of them. Emma stood off to the side, wearing an odd expression. Not happy, not angry, just Off. It's very nice, she said flatly. Jake opened the trunk. Damn, you could fit a whole family's stuff in here. This is like the perfect family car. Kinda wasted on someone who doesn't have kids. That stung a little, but I let it slide. I have 2 nephews and another on the way. I like the space. We headed back inside to finish dinner. Emma was quiet for the rest of the meal. She barely touched her food and kept shooting me looks I couldn't decipher. Then, toward the end of dinner, she slammed her fork down on the plate. You know what, Carla, she said. You should give me that car. I blinked, thinking she was joking, but her face was dead serious. Emma, what are you talking about? Think about it. You don't have a family. You don't have kids. You make good money. You could get another car. But we really need this one. Our van's falling apart, and we're about to have 3 kids. Your car is perfect for us. I looked around. Jake was nodding. My parents were actually considering this madness. Emma, I'm not giving you my car. I just bought it. But it makes sense, she said. You're being selfish. How am I selfish for keeping something I bought with my own money? Because we need it more than you do. If you need a new car so badly, sell your old one and get a loan like everyone else. Emma's eyes welled with tears. I can't believe you're being like this. We're family. I help you all the time. I pay for your kids' school stuff, your bills, their sports clubs. Don't call me selfish. That's different, Mom whispered. This would really help Emma and Jake. Emma has a point, Dad said. She needs it more than you, and you're single. You can afford another. I felt like I was losing my mind. You think I should give my brand new car to Emma because she has kids and I don't? Carla, sit down, Dad said. Let's talk this through. There's nothing to talk about. The answer is no. I grabbed my purse and left. My hands shook on the steering wheel all the way home. Once I got there, I changed out of my nice clothes. And then the phone started ringing. Mom, Dad, Emma. I ignored every call. I knew exactly what they wanted, to pressure me into giving away my car. The calls didn't stop. When I didn't pick up, they started texting. One after another. Carla, please reconsider. Emma really needs this car. Mom, you're hurting your pregnant sister. Dad, think about what's best for the family. Emma. Every single message told me I was selfish, that I was cruel for not handing over my car. I read them all, but didn't respond. It didn't stop for 2 weeks. The guilt trips came every day. Then they dragged in my Aunt Linda. Aunt Linda called me one evening during the 2nd week. Carla, sweetheart, she said in that syrupy voice she always used when trying to smooth things over. I heard about what's going on with Emma. Don't you think maybe you should help your sister out? She's having such a tough pregnancy, and Jake's job situation. Aunt Linda, I said firmly, I'm not giving my car to anyone. I bought it with my own money. I need it, and I'm keeping it. But sweetie, she's family. She's pregnant. You know how important family is. The answer is no. I'm not changing my mind. I hung up before she could say more. Even my extended family was being pulled into this drama. But I stood firm. I had worked hard, saved diligently, and bought something I genuinely needed and wanted. The fact that Emma had kids didn't mean she was entitled to take it from me. I had been supporting them financially for years. This was how they repaid me? After 2 relentless weeks, I was mentally drained. But I didn't budge. I wasn't giving them the car. I wasn't giving in to the guilt. Then, something unexpected lifted my spirits. My college friend Sarah called. She was getting married and wanted me to come to her wedding. Sarah lived across the country in California. I hadn't seen her in almost 2 years. Please say you can make it, she begged. It's a small wedding, but I really want you there. You were my roommate for 3 years. You have to be there. The timing couldn't have been better. A few days away from the chaos, away from the pressure, sounded like heaven. I told her yes. I booked a flight for Thursday evening and planned to return Sunday night. A short trip, but worth it. I parked my car in the lot next to my apartment building like I always did when I traveled. I packed a small bag with a nice dress for the wedding, some casual clothes, and tried to put the family drama behind me. My phone had mostly gone quiet. Just the occasional guilt trip text from Mom or Emma. I ignored them. When Thursday came, I parked my car, locked it carefully, and took a taxi to the airport. The flight was smooth. Sarah picked me up when I landed, and it felt amazing to see her again. The next few days were exactly what I needed. Sarah's wedding was intimate and beautiful. She looked radiant, and her fiancé, Mark, seemed like a great guy. I got to reconnect with some of our other college friends, and for the first time in weeks, I wasn't thinking about my family at all. Saturday afternoon, we lounged at the beach. The ceremony was that evening. We danced, laughed, and toasted to love. Sunday morning, we all had brunch together. The flight home that evening was calm. I felt like myself again, rested, grounded, ready to move on. But the moment my taxi pulled into the parking lot of my apartment complex, my heart dropped. My car was gone. I blinked, then said to the driver, "Can you drive around the lot slowly? I'm looking for my car." We circled the whole area. Nothing. My Honda Pilot wasn't there. I paid the driver, rushed upstairs, and stood in my apartment trying to think clearly. Had it been towed? No. I always parked legally. Had it been stolen? I locked it, always, and it had an alarm. I remembered the security cameras. Mr. Peterson, the building manager, lived on the first floor and monitored the system. I ran downstairs and knocked. "Carla, what's wrong?" he asked when he saw my face. "My car's missing. Can we check the security footage?" "Of course. Come in." We sat at his desktop and scanned the footage. We fast-forwarded to Friday morning around 9 o'clock a.m. My stomach flipped. There it was, my car, and there was Jake, walking up to it. He was holding something in his hand. He fiddled with the driver's door and got in. No alarm, no hesitation. Then he drove away. I asked Mr. Peterson to help me transfer the clip to my phone. My hands were shaking. My face burned with anger. I sat there for a moment trying to absorb what I'd just seen. They had stolen my car. Not borrowed, not asked, stolen. They had broken in, bypassed the alarm, and driven off, assuming I wouldn't notice. Or worse, that I'd be too scared of causing family drama to act. I was done. "You should call the police," Mr. Peterson said gently. "Not yet," I replied. "I want to make sure it's where I think it is." I called a taxi and gave the driver Emma and Jake's address. During the ride, I couldn't stop replaying the footage in my head. How did they get into my car? How did they bypass the alarm? When we pulled up to their rental house, I spotted it instantly. My Honda Pilot was parked right in their driveway, like it belonged to them. They didn't even try to hide it. I stared at it from the taxi window. My blood boiled. I got out, marched to the door, and pounded on it with my fist. Jake opened the door. Emma stood behind him. He actually smiled. "Hey, Carla," he said like nothing had happened. I pointed toward my car. "What the hell is my car doing in your driveway?" Emma stepped forward with this smug, unapologetic look. "Well, if you hadn't been so selfish, we wouldn't have had to take matters into our own hands." "Take matters into your own hands? You broke into my apartment. You stole my car." "We didn't steal anything," Jake said. "We just took what you should have given us." "How did you even get into my apartment?" Emma grinned. "Remember the spare keys you gave Mom and Dad a few years ago? Just in case? Well, this was an emergency. We went in while you were gone and got the car keys." I felt sick. They didn't just take the car, they violated my home. "Give me my keys," I said through clenched teeth, "and stay away from my car." Emma laughed. "No, this is our car now. You can go buy another one." "This is theft," I said. "I'm calling the police." "Go ahead," Emma challenged. "We'll just say you promised us the car and changed your mind. Who do you think they'll believe? A single woman or a pregnant mother of two?" She slammed the door in my face. I stood there trembling. They thought they could rob me, and I'd just let it slide. They were wrong. I called another taxi, this time to the police station. It was time to treat this like what it was, a crime. At the police station, I explained everything to the officer at the front desk. He brought me to Detective Martinez, who sat and listened while I recounted the entire story from start to finish. "So, your brother-in-law took your vehicle without permission?" he asked. "Yes, and I have video proof of him stealing it from my apartment's parking lot." I handed him my phone and played the footage showing Jake unlocking the door and driving off in my Honda Pilot. "And where is the car now?" "Parked in their driveway. I just came from there. They flat out refused to return it." Detective Martinez nodded. "We'll need you to fill out a theft report. Do you have proof of ownership?" I pulled out my registration and insurance documents. "I bought it 3 weeks ago. It's registered in my name, paid in full." "All right," he said. "We'll dispatch officers to retrieve the vehicle and bring your brother-in-law in for questioning." I filled out the paperwork and gave them Emma and Jake's address. By the time I left the station, I was still seething, but I also felt something new. Relief. I had done the right thing. I wasn't letting them walk all over me this time. The next day, Detective Martinez called. "We have your vehicle here at the station, Ms. Carla. Your brother-in-law has been arrested for auto theft. We also brought in your sister for questioning. She admitted to being involved." "Can I come get my car?" "Yes, but there's something else. Your family is here, and they want to speak with you." When I walked into the police station lobby, it was chaos. Emma sat in a chair sobbing loudly. Her mascara had left dark streaks down her face. My parents were pacing the floor, both red-faced and furious. The moment they saw me, they rushed over. "Carla!" Mom cried, grabbing my arm. "You have to drop the charges right now." "How could you do this to your own family?" Dad demanded. Emma looked up at me, her face twisted in disbelief. "You're a monster. You're trying to destroy my family." "I'm getting back the car that was stolen from me," I said calmly. "He's going to jail because of you," Emma screamed. "My children's father could go to prison." "He went to jail because he broke the law," I said evenly. "He stole my car." Mom burst into tears. "Please, Carla, think about the kids. Think about Emma's pregnancy. You can't let Jake go to prison over a car." "It's not just a car," I said. "It's my property. They stole it. They broke into my apartment to take the keys." "But we're your family," Dad shouted. "Family doesn't send family to jail." "Family doesn't steal from family either," I snapped back. Detective Martinez stepped in. "Ms. Carla, we need to know how you'd like to proceed. Do you want to press charges?" I looked at them all. Emma sobbing, Mom pleading, Dad glaring like I'd betrayed them. None of them understood that what Jake and Emma did was illegal, that it was wrong, that I had every right to protect myself and my property. "You know what?" I said, locking eyes with Detective Martinez. "I'll drop the charges, but only under one condition." They all stared at me. "You all leave me alone, completely. I want nothing to do with any of you ever again." "Carla, don't be dramatic," Mom said, her voice cracking. "I'm not being dramatic. I'm done. You stole from me. You broke into my home. You tried to gaslight me into thinking I was the one in the wrong. I'm cutting all ties with you." "You can't mean that," Dad said. "I absolutely mean it. I'll drop the charges against Jake, but in return, you never contact me again. No calls, no texts, no showing up at my apartment. We're done." I turned to Detective Martinez. "I'll drop the charges." He nodded. "Understood. I'll handle the paperwork." Jake was released a few hours later, though I heard he spent 2 extra nights in custody for resisting arrest when the officers first showed up to retrieve the vehicle. I picked up my car at the station. Everything was still in place, thankfully. As I drove home, I felt drained but free. That night, I blocked every single one of them. Mom, Dad, Emma, Jake, on my phone. Facebook, Instagram, everything. I wiped them from my life like chalk off a board. The weeks that followed were quiet, peaceful. No endless phone calls asking for money, no guilt trips about Emma's needs, no family drama, just silence. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like someone's emergency fund or emotional punching bag. I was just me, living my life. About 5 months later, my Aunt Linda called me again. This time from an unknown number I hadn't blocked. "Carla, honey," she said softly, "I have news. Emma had her baby, a little girl. Your parents wanted me to let you know. You have a new niece." "Okay," I said flatly. "Don't you want to know her name or see a photo?" "No." "Carla!" "Linda, don't you think this has gone on long enough? It's been 5 months. Maybe it's time to forgive and forget." "Forgive and forget?" I said sharply. "They stole my car. They broke into my apartment. They tried to turn the whole family against me, and now they're playing victim because I dared to stand up for myself." "But they're your family." "No, they stopped being my family the moment they decided Emma's wants were more important than my rights." "You're really going to throw away your whole family over a car?" "I didn't throw them away. They threw me away when they tried to take what I worked hard for and expected me to just go along with it." "What about the kids? Tyler and Mason miss their aunt. And now there's a new baby who'll never know you." That one hit a nerve. I did miss the boys. I loved them. But I couldn't be part of their lives without letting their parents back in mine. "That's not my choice, Linda. That's Emma and Jake's. They chose theft over respect. They chose lies over family." "Your parents are getting older. What if something happens to them?" "Then I guess I'll read about it in the obituaries." I could hear Linda crying quietly now. "How can you be so cold?" "I'm not cold. I'm just done being a doormat. I spent years helping them, giving money, picking up the slack. The one time I did something for myself, they stole it. And when I stood up to them, they made me the villain." "But you got the car back." "It's not about the car, Linda. It's about what it represented. They saw me as someone they could take from without asking. And they didn't even try to apologize. They tried to justify it. That's what broke everything." Linda was quiet for a long moment. "So, this is it? You're never going to speak to them again?" "That's up to them. They know where I live. They know where I work. If they ever want to apologize and truly make things right, they can. But I'm not chasing after people who treated me like trash." After I hung up, I sat alone in my apartment, staring at the city lights outside my window. Did I miss them? Sometimes. I missed the boys. I missed the idea of family, but I didn't regret what I did. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't anxious about money. I wasn't burdened by someone else's crisis. I was free, and I'd learned something invaluable. I didn't have to accept bad behavior just because it came from family. They thought I'd fold like always. They thought I'd stay quiet to keep the peace. They were wrong. And now they were the ones who had to live with the consequences, just like I had to live with mine.